as you can hear, my co-host Jenna is laughing in the background. We are recording later in the day than we usually do, and I'm more of a morning person. Plus, I had some McDonald's on the way over here, which is not good for anybody getting anything useful done. So this next audio may not be amazing, and it's my fault because it only recorded on the camera and not through our new setup with our fancy mics. So welcome to today's episode of the Park Hoppers Show. And if you can tell by this music, if we're not being taken down for copyright infringement, we're going to talk about Marvel Studios movies and shows. And we have a special interview with someone who spent the last week at the new Marvel's Avengers campus in California at Disneyland. And that will be shortly after me and Jenna catch up on all things comic books and characters that she has no idea what we're talking about. So, Jenna.
Yes.
I hear you were trying to get ready for this episode by...
Oh, I did some research.
All right, well, from your research, what kind of questions do you got?
I probably should start off saying that we're not a big Marvel family.
Mm-hmm.
I have goals. I do. I aspire to be that one day. But we're not there yet.
Big goals. Yeah.
But I do remember watching the Spider-Man movies when I was younger, and like the upside down kiss, wasn't that a thing?
Oh my goodness.
That's all I remember.
I mean,
when he was hanging upside down.
I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, and that just, it makes me sad.
And then I remember...
That's like saying you know that Jar Jar Binks? I love Star Wars. Man.
So then there was, did Iron Man come out in college? Because I feel like I watched that in college.
I mean, you're
I liked that.
I don't know. Whatever.
It's
not true. Yeah.
But I've never really like put it all together. And so when we talked about doing this episode, I thought, okay, I should do some research. So I watched episode 1 of Loki and was like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
It's so good. And pardon these new microphones, but we're going to talk right into it. Loki's so good.
Yes.
But, so what did you watch other than that?
So then, that wasn't very successful. It didn't give me a lot of information.
The show was fine. Her viewing was not very successful.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go back and watch more of it. I just didn't know what was going on. So then this morning, the girls and I watched half of the Avengers Infinity War.
Now, did you watch the first half or the second half of it?
First half.
Well, that's good. That's a good place to start off.
So we had 1,000 questions, but we were also like Googling and researching while we were watching. Oh, we had the whole thing going on.
This should have been part of the show.
We were really doing our homework.
That's hilarious.
And I liked it. I love Chris Pratt. I think he's hilarious, and I love
just Chris Pratt.
Not Harry Connick Jr. Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, try not to.
I keep bumping this thing.
I mean, why are you so close to it?
I move around a lot.
Like a lot of moving around. All right, but that's
anyway.
Okay.
So I do enjoy their humor, and I liked it. I just haven't been. I
understand.
I haven't put the whole picture together yet.
It's okay.
But I did make notes. I made a whole list of characters. I have actors' names. I have.
So you made this list, but what is that?
I don't really know what I'm going to say about it, but at least if you mention something, I'm going to know what you're...
The big board with the circles and the lines, like trying to figure out who goes where. I kind of feel like, I can't think of the guy's name who's in charge of the MCU, but I feel like that's what he did because I think it's one guy that there's different directors and things, but one guy kind of like oversaw...
Connected it all.
And was like, comic books, I don't know how much I mean, we were both kind of jocks as kids, you know? That's real dumb. So I only really kind of dabbled in comics as a kid. I was like half into that and then half into sports. So I never really sold out too far either direction. So I know my Spider-Mans and my, Batmans and Supermans. But then, if you start getting into Loki, the stuff that starts coming up. I mean, there's like, and even Infinity War, like all those things, and Civil War. That's one of the
I
other
saw that.
movies.
It's on my list. Yeah. That's way down at the bottom.
In the comics, it's, several issues over several different brands. Like, there's like Amazing Spider-Man, there's Spider-Man, there's the there's there's like 4 or 5 different main even brands of Spider-Man comics that don't overlap. Oh yeah, so it's hard to take all of this, like, what is the stuff? I can't even think of the
content.
Well, the content, but that's not the word. They're taking all of this subject matter, like all this history of a character, and all these characters, especially all of them that are in all these things, and make it make sense, as it were. So, I think the new Doctor Strange one's going to get real weird.
What's that called?
The Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, so that's like another show
it's
coming
another movie.
out? Another movie?
Doctor Strange movie, I believe. So.
Okay.
So Doctor Strange was one of my favorites when this movie. So if you get to that one in your movie viewing, Doctor Strange was one of my favorites.
In my research, I found like the list, the order to watch them all in.
Okay.
So it's Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Avengers, Iron 3.
Well, so I have never seen any of the Hulk movies because the Hulk in those movies is not the Hulk from Avengers. It's a different actor playing it.
Oh.
So if you want to skip those,
skip that.
It's unnecessary. So are you familiar with, let's see, what my wife likes? 13 going on 30, I think.
Yes.
So I think like
movie.
the love interest in that is the Hulk. Like that guy that plays the...
He's the old Hulk?
No, he's the one in...
He's the one in Avengers?
Yeah.
Really?
He's the best. Let's see. I'm just going to Google it because...
her name's Jenna in that movie.
I mean, I've not seen 13 going on 30.
That movie. I could relate.
Because that's your name.
Going on 40.
Oh, man. 13 going on... Oh, it's too early to get up.
Back.
Oh,
I can't see.
I looked up Hulk instead of anything smart to look up. So anyway.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm getting there. Now, I'm confused.
Okay, well, let's see what you got.
Because...
Mark Ruffalo is the guy's name.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah, I looked him up today.
He's the best. Like
so
that guy.
He's the guy on 13 going on 30?
I think so. Let's see.
I don't remember
I'll
that.
just go on. Well, he was young and he was like the young handsome guy 20 years ago, and now he's 50. Which is weird that he's the action star now, but anyway.
So...
I mean, if you see these movies he was in, rumor has it, just like having 13 going on 30, Eternal Sunshine of the Spot. I mean, all these movies, because that's who he was when he was younger. So...
Funny.
But you get that...
Go back and look at that.
You get in that Disney world and you start getting that Disney money, and you're like, acting. I can do a Hulk. That's fine.
Yeah, why not?
Take it. Yeah, so...
Why? Oh, okay. When I did my research...
Most of the questions you'll have is why? Why did they do that?
Why did Guardians of the Galaxy not come up on this list? When do I watch that movie?
No.
So, but they were in the Avengers. They all come in. But that's...
I don't know what list. I don't know how you pulled this list.
No, it was like how to get... You know what I Googled? You want to know?
Sure.
Learning
the
Marvel story for dummies.
Oh, that's fun. That's really funny. I don't know.
So, anyway, so we're watching Avengers, and the Guardians of the Galaxy come in, and I know who they are, and being in the Disney culture, I know these guys. I didn't really know where they fit in, and then there was another group of people, the blonde girl. And
I need a name.
They were saving Wanda and Vision, or they were trying to save it. So they came in. Blonde girl who used to date the Hulk, apparently. See, this is all from my Google research.
Not from that movie.
She walked in the room, or he walked in the room, and then Chris Pratt goes, "This is awkward," because the blonde girl's there. Come on, Paul. I was hoping you'd have answers for me.
I don't know what you're speaking of in this, so I'm just going to go ahead and look it up.
So I didn't know who that group was. Well, so that was my question there. But... anyways, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So, but what is the question that you had? Because that wasn't a question.
Who is that group?
Who is that?
With the blonde
I guess
girl.
I'll look it up because I don't even know what you speak of.
Because I know the Hulk, I know Captain America, or he wasn't really in the beginning, but Iron Man and Doctor Strange. But then, and then I knew the Guardians of the Galaxy. But then there was that other group, and I didn't know who they were.
Now, are you speaking of? No, I don't know who this movie is. Now, in the movie, he was really good. You're not talking about like the what's her face, the Scarlett Johansson character, right?
Because the Green Girl? No, not her.
Scarlett Johansson. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, but
she's the Black Widow.
Okay.
It's not her, right?
Well, she's blonde. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure out, because they were good friends in this movie, but not dating. I don't know who this person is.
Well, anyways.
But hey, there is a She-Hulk movie coming out, so I don't know how that all gets put together either.
Don't give up on us. Don't turn it off because we have a really good interview at the end.
Yeah, so I don't know who this person is. I know there's a blonde girl. I really just want to know who this person is because now it's killing me. So that's the only question you had from Avengers, the first half?
Well, so far. I mean, I only got halfway through, but...
It's real good. That one is probably one of the better movies, and the fight at the end it's like a 30-minute, battle across multiple universes and stuff, and it's pretty good. So, I'm going to find out who this person is, though.
So, all of this to say,
Uh-huh.
the new Avengers campus in Disney California Adventure in Disneyland opened, and the owner of Visit Mickey got to go this week, and she has tons of video and pictures, and we just talked to her. It
I don't know who on
sounds
earth
so
we could
fun.
possibly be talking about in this thing. But
We'll do it later.
I feel like it was that girl because they were good friends and they had some kind of chemistry in the other movies, but then
Maybe so.
I think that's, but she's an Avenger. Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson's one of the Avengers. Boy, this is rough. This is some rough Marvel talk.
Told you.
Anyway,
I'm
we'll get away from this. And you also watched the first episode of Loki.
I did.
Now,
It was Thor's brother.
Yeah.
I got that.
Uh-huh. Well, I remember telling you that, but that's fine.
Okay.
So that is a great show, and I think the underrated thing that people I don't think saw coming when they got Disney Plus. You get all of the great content from
The
years
old
gone
stuff,
by,
right?
But they have taken like these second tier characters from the movies, and they made you really invest in them. Like that WandaVision. I loved WandaVision. It's I think polarizing. A lot of people were like, "This is too weird. It's too strange." But the movie they were in, The Age of Ultron, where that all started, I hated it. And not all of those movies were great, in my opinion, the Marvel movies, but I loved WandaVision, and I'm like, I want to know more about these people. And, so one little show, they can take the side story, because that's how the comic books are, there's 1,000 different ones, 1,000 different characters.
Right.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man, if I had to hear about Bucky one more time in these Captain America movies, I don't care about him.
Oh.
It's Captain America's friend from the past.
Okay.
And the Falcon was like Captain America's friend from now. But then they made the show with the two of them, and it's amazing, and it makes you love both of them, and it really furthers the story of Captain America. And if you watch that, I'm not going to give any spoilers on here. It furthers both of their stories, and it makes you go, these two, I love this. And now Loki, it's like, oh, wow, there's a whole nother world, and maybe setting up the next Doctor Strange movie and all those things. So for people, a lot of people wanted like a second season of this and a second season of that, but I'm pretty sure these are just like 6 to 8 episodes of something that furthers all the side character stories. They're not set up to make a lot more of a show, or like 10 seasons of a show, but they are so well done, and it's free. It's coming on.
Well, and I think it's smart, because I think nowadays people are more interested in binging short episodes rather than
these are all like 45-minute episodes, and so it's like
but
half a movie, and it's,
so they can watch it and then anticipate the next one and the next one, and that's kind of the culture we live in now. Is when's the next one come out? I can't wait for the next one, and then like you said, them using that to build up to a movie. I think that's really smart.
And I can tell you something, Disney, though, if you're watching, which I'm sure you're not, we could do without 10 minutes of credits at the end of each one of these shows. I mean, I know a lot of people worked hard on these things, but you see the timeline, like, ooh, this is a 55-minute episode, and then at 37 minutes, it's over, and you're like, what? Wow, a lot of people worked on this, but I don't care. So then you have to watch, you have to skip to the end to get. A lot of people work on Netflix shows, but you can go next episode immediately once the credit starts. But these Marvel movies, man, you have to like to the end, or go back and go to the next.
Just go get some popcorn
and watch 17 minutes of credits.
Get up to go to the bathroom or something.
That's a long bathroom. You need to eat more fiber, Jenna. If you're in there that long, that's a long rest. So, anyway, I had a bunch of things there, but so we were talking about. You'll hear later about the cool new Spider-Man ride in California, and you were saying the cool thing about the Avengers campus is it's only in California. Like, it's not coming to Orlando, and like, one of the big reasons is they have that Spider-Man ride, but because of Do you know any of the Spider-Man like saga of Sony and all that stuff?
A little bit.
So Sony owned. I guess it was Fox or somewhere along the lines it was Marvel, and they were like, we don't need any of these characters, and they sold the rights to Spider-Man to Sony, and they got rid of the X-Men to Fox, and then they were like, Disney's like, hey, we bought Marvel. Nobody knows who any of these people are. So as like a comic book person as a child, I mean, I knew who Iron Man was and who Thor was, but I didn't care who these people were. So they have done an amazing job of making, like, my kids will put Iron Man ahead of Superman as far as like name a cartoon, name a comic book character. And when we were kids, it was like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Right.
And now it's like Iron Man, Thor.
Interesting, yeah.
And you're like, oh, these were nobody. Like, these were second and third tier characters that they have made into big stars. And I mean, part of it is Robert Downey Jr. His acting of Iron Man is amazing, but that's why at the end he was getting like $50 million a movie to keep being him.
Oh my gosh.
So pretty great stuff. But that's why these Spider-Man people keep changing too, because Sony has to. I think there's something in the deal where they have to make one every so many years, or they lose the rights to it. Mm-hmm. But this new Spider-Man, Tom Holland, is great, and then he's in the MCU, even though Sony owns that property, and because they have a deal with Universal Studios Florida, there's a Spider-Man ride there, and it's a fun ride. Mm-hmm. But I remember and there's a Hulk ride there too, which is weird. Mm-hmm. So all that is going on in their little dealings in Florida, but in California, it's anything goes apparently. So I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why it's only in the Florida park. It's weird that there's also Universal Studios Hollywood, and they don't have the same kind of rides there, but or the same kind of deal. But I think that's the reason, because they had that deal as part of a thing saying.
Right.
And then Sony and Disney have been fighting over the Spider-Man thing. I mean, over the hundreds of millions of dollars it's worth for years, because Disney would love to have it all the way back, and then Sony's like, this is all we have. As a company, this is almost all we have, is the money these movies make. So
right. And I am always telling people how different Disneyland is from Disney World, and how honestly our family enjoys Disneyland better. And Disneyland also has Cars Land that Disney World doesn't have.
I heard they got rid of Bugs Life. You'll find that out later. But they kept Cars Land.
Oh my gosh, Cars Land is so fun.
Cars Land looked so fun, but that movie was
Cars Land.
Bugs Life amazing.
So what I'm saying is, this just gives Disneyland another feature to go out there and see that you can't see here, not here.
Yeah.
You know, in our region.
Well, what a face. All right, so I mean, I would recommend getting into. She's got a list of the movies to watch for Marvel, but I'd say watch almost all of them. Some of them are bad, but you can. What are you gonna do? You got all summer. It's $7 a month or $8 a month. Come on, it's pretty great. Most of them, it turns out, are pretty great. I think for a while there, I hated like 4 or 5 out of like 6 that they made, and I said, these are not for me. But the more I watch them, like, I mean. And they get accused of, and I think it's fair that a lot of them are almost like cookie cutter stories of like, but that's how comic books are too.
Right, and I mean,
but the Marvel movies have like a feel to them where it's like.
Well, I like how funny they are.
Well, so
you don't expect that with like superhero movies. Well, you just expect the action.
So the first Guardians of the Galaxy is very funny. Second movie is just terrible. I'd skip the second one altogether. It's pretty bad. But Thor Ragnarok is the best one, I think.
Oh, really?
It is. I mean, it's him.
That's the last one it says to watch.
Him and Incredible Hulk, and then Jeff Goldblum is in it. From, you know who that is? The guy. You don't. Oh my goodness.
I don't know people.
If you've been watching or listening to any of these episodes, you'll know that Jenna has.
I could walk into a room of movie stars and just be like,
fleeting knowledge of pop culture in general.
Hey y'all.
This guy. He was in Jurassic Park, and he was in The Fly, and he was in Independence Day.
Okay.
He has a show on Disney Plus on the National Geographic thing where he just goes and does stuff.
Oh, fun.
But he's very kind of does like, and he talks a little bit like this. Oh no. Yes. Oh no.
So he's in that with them.
He's like the leader of this planet, and he's just this real weirdo. Just like in the new Loki, like Owen Wilson's in it. They're just actually
Wilson. Oh my gosh! Yeah. So I'm watching it, and I'm like, that voice sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put a name to it, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh,
it's Owen Wilson.
20 years later, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's Owen Wilson.
So yeah, he's very good in it. I mean, that show.
Yeah.
And I think we just got through season 4. Check whenever you're watching this, or episode 4. It's very good, and it's getting better.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going.
Okay.
But it's so exciting. So
now, at this point, should I continue on to episode 2, or should I educate myself before I get back into it?
I think it's made where you don't. In all honesty, I don't think you need to know anything except that he's Loki, or he's Thor's troublemaking brother, because there's no other. There's no other characters.
I can go with that. Like Mandalorian, you can watch that on its own, and we loved the Mandalorian. But you didn't need.
I'm the only one that didn't like it.
I mean, the Star Wars history enhanced it, but you didn't need it.
Well, because the history of the Mandalorians and their battle armor and how he survived. Boba Fett.
Act like that's any different from the superhero comic book.
He survived oh gosh, I can't even think. Man, so it's that cheeseburger, not the Death Star, you bite your tongue. The Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi, that big monster in the sand.
Okay.
No, is it Return of the Jedi? It's the one where Jabba the Hutt, they're throwing them. Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So you watched them right before Christmas?
I did. 2 Christmases
You know the
ago.
one where they're going to kill Skywalker, and Leia's got the bikini on. She's strapped to a big sled down.
Yes.
Okay. So Boba Fett gets thrown into that pit on accident and eaten. But in the novels, he survives because that battle armor they wear is so strong that the acids from the Sarlacc's stomach, and his teeth can't get through it. And he summons Slave One, his ship, with his communicator on his wrist, and it comes and pulls him out of it. So he's still alive.
Bad. We need to move on to the interview.
I'm just letting everybody out there know.
You are getting off something.
Yeah, well,
you're crazy.
Cheeseburger talking, but yes. So anyway, Boba Fett was in those movies for like 6 minutes.
Okay.
And then now, just because that costume was so cool, people are like, we want to know more about this guy. So they made that whole series that's not about him, but about his people.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't really like Mandalorian.
Oh, I loved it.
I haven't been able to watch both seasons, so. Yeah, it just is not my thing. But I mean, Marvel wasn't my thing for a while either, so maybe I'll get back into this. It's weird how, we don't understand because we grew up as jocks. But how everything that was so nerdy as children
is like so cool.
Is like the most popular stuff in the world now. Like so many shows are just
funny.
They have just revolve around Dungeons and Dragons, and you're like, oh, all right, well this is like a thing that you got made fun of in the 80s when you could still call people cool bad names when we were kids, and if you had any kind of nerdy tendencies, you got picked on. But now it's like, haha, we win.
They won.
Nerds won.
All right.
So anyway, we have a good interview with Jenna's boss, the owner of Visit Mickey, coming up. And thank you for making it through this.
Tolerating
because
this.
It was a little bit of something. So enjoy.
Yes, it's very good. Thank you.
All right, so we are here with our special guest. Jenna, would you like to introduce who we've got here?
I would love to introduce who we have here. We have my very special friend and my boss and my Disney mentor, Tricia. She's the owner of Visit Mickey Vacations, and she is fresh back from Disneyland, where she got to experience the new Avengers campus. So she's going to tell us all the things today. Hello, Tricia.
Jenna, hi, Paul. I am so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you on here. I was so excited to find out that somebody we knew would be out there, on the ground immediately. So,
and it was so good. One, it was so good to be back in Disneyland, but to be there for a new land, and it was so good. And honestly, California residents got to go in June 4th. And then non-California residents got to go in June 15th. And coming from Ohio, I'm like, gee, I'm going to be there the 27th. But to me, that was good because that gave 12 days for all of the people to get there. And by the 27th, there were no lines to get in. So if you had heard, there were long lines to get to Avengers Campus.
Yes.
By the 27th, all the bloggers and vloggers and YouTubers got in there and got out of there.
Nice.
So I was thrilled that I waited.
Perfect.
Frankly.
Great timing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yay. All right.
Well, so before we started, you were showing us, you said you've got a cool toy on your wrist. Can you show us what that?
I do. So this is This is, I'm trying to get this one side. There. This is, I know, virtual backgrounds. So when you're on the ride and you look over here, look over there, and you see that you're on the web slinger ride as a guest, and you can see like out of their wrist come these webs, right? So when you're on the ride, every time you make this action with your wrist, and look like Spider-Man, every time you do that with your wrist, a single strand leaves your wrist and goes and attacks those spiders, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
But if you buy web tech, this, AKA this shooter, now with this shooter on my wrist, I get 3 spider webs.
Oh.
Which means that you can get a better score because you have extra power. Now, this is step 1 of web tech. There's this, and then you can add on even extra powers to this. So you can have an actual like thing that covers this part of your hand that will shoot actual string out. That will give you more power. You can buy a palm thing that makes an Iron Man, so that instead of doing the web slinger like Spider-Man, you do the palm like Iron Man. So you can buy lots of web tech in order to bump up your score. I'm going back with my family in August, so this is going to be for my daughter to try and get that web slinger action going and get that extra score. So for me, for Visit Mickey, I buy it. So I understand how to use it. I can talk to our guests about it, and I can practice.
Yay. That's so fun. And you just buy that there in the park?
You buy it in the park. And there's a store called Web Supply right outside of the Web Slinger ride. And actually, you can buy it all over. This like unit on my arm, you can buy everywhere. But I bought it right before I got on the ride, I went and bought it.
Now, Web Slingers has a virtual line. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can you explain to us that
and
process?
It's just like Rise of the Resistance that we're used to in Walt Disney World and in Disneyland. So you have to have a park reservation. This is not new. You got to have the park reservation. But that park reservation determines which virtual queue you're going for. So if you're looking to go to California Adventure in the morning, you wake up, you plan your 7 a.m., got to get my virtual queue, and you can only do that for web slingers. So when you want to go to Rise, you have to have a park reservation for Disneyland. When you want to go to Web Slingers, you have to have a park reservation for California Adventure.
And it's the same thing, 7 a.m., get off the Wi-Fi, all the same tips.
Yes, 7 a.m. and noon there. So it's noon versus 1. So 7 a.m. and noon. And same thing though. You have to go to join virtual boarding group, join group, verify party, and then get your number.
Now, I've seen a couple of videos online, and it's hard to, from online, see how big is the Avengers campus?
Well, it's pretty big. So since most of us are Disney World experts, I'm going to say it's approximately the size of Toy Story Land, 5 acres. So I believe it's between 5 and 6 acres. Toy Story Land is 5, and Avengers Camp and Star Wars is 7. So I think it's kind of like right at 5 or in between 5 and 7.
That's a lot bigger than I thought. Wow.
And a good use of space. So there's like every corner you turn, there's the next thing. So they have a very good use of space. Where, I think we all kind of feel when we got to Toy Story Land, we're like, this isn't exactly right. I think we all felt that way. We expected a little bit more.
Right.
So in Avengers Campus, it's different. Like the way they have arranged the space is amazing because you've got your Black Panther area, your Doctor Strange area. You've got the area where they put the characters. You've got the Avengers Campus where they have things happening almost all the time. And then the food and drink area. So we have the PIM kitchen and then the PIM test lab. Pim Kitchen is for food, and the testing lab is for your alcoholic drinks.
Interesting.
Now, that Pim Kitchen, I saw something that looked amazing, and it was a giant chicken sandwich on a tiny little bun. Did you have one of those?
Yes. And it's really tasty. I had both breakfast and lunch there. So the breakfast was interesting because we ordered like the all-American breakfast, but it's called something else. And then we ordered the kid breakfast because we wanted to see what that was going to look like. So they do everything so cutely, right? So they have the eggs, they have 2 eggs. One egg's really big, and then one egg's this big. The whole egg is this big. And then you go, what the heck? And they're like, it's a quail egg. But for the purposes of Disney, to have the yolk be the size of a dime and the whole egg be the size of a quarter, you go, what is this, right? And they're like, it's a quail egg. But it's a fried egg that size. And then your other egg would be a really big egg that's a scrambled egg.
Okay.
And French toast and bacon, and so it's like that's your all-American potato. And then the kids, they have what's called a cinnamon mini is what it's called, and it's like cinnamon bread pudding is pretty much what it is. Like they call it French toast, but it tastes like bread pudding. And turkey bacon. So that's the kids breakfast, and it comes with a tiny little fork. Like the whole fork is like this tall.
Oh my gosh.
So everything with Pim Kitchen is stuff went through the Pim actuator. Some stuff gets small, some stuff gets big. It's kind of random.
Now, Jenna does not know what these things are, and we're going to go through, and I'm actually going to nerd out on some Marvel for the rest of the podcast.
I am very Marvel illiterate, but I'm trying to catch up. We watched some of them. I tried to watch Loki, but I realized I need to get myself caught up before that.
She has a list.
So I have a whole list of characters.
Yeah, Loki is not something to watch without background.
Yeah, I learned that last night. I was like,
sure, Paul.
I was like, one episode, just one episode. That's all I needed, so we could have a jumping off point. So,
but no, it sounds fun. What were you going to say?
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything, but okay. I do have more questions.
Go ahead.
Other than the Spider-Man ride, what else is there? Like, what other attractions are at the Avengers campus?
Well, you know what? It's not. There are currently the Spider-Man ride is the new ride, and Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is the ride that launched 3 years ago. So they say we have an anchor ride. That's like the big physical ride is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout that they launched 3 years ago. Then they built Avengers Campus around that ride, right? So they added only web slingers. So there's 2 thrilling rides. One is a thrill ride, one isn't. So the Spider-Man ride, Web Slingers, A Spider-Man Adventure is the full name, is actually the mechanics of it is Toy Story Mania. So you get into that. Yes. So instead of being a 2-seater, it's a 4-seater on each side.
Oh.
So it's 4 seats, and it's the same track. You get in, you spin around, you go up to a screen, and then you're like, pew, 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 pew. And then you get in, you spin around, you go to the next screen, and it's pew, 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 pew. And that's like what you do. And again, Toy Story Mania, you pull on that rope to get your stuff to happen. Here, you're just web slinging with your wrists. So that action makes the spider web shoot out of your wrist.
Oh my goodness.
Now, personal question, do you make that sound when you do it each time?
Actually, sometimes I'm screaming. I'm screaming because of what's happening on the screen.
Right.
I actually have, I wish I was a little better at technology, because I have a video of Peter Parker that I've shared on Visit Mickey's page.
Okay.
So it's a video that explains what the ride is and why we do what we do.
Okay.
So I have one more thing to show, and hopefully I can get it in the screen.
Well, apparently you're in good company. They say that Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, every time he shot his gun on set, he made that sound.
Oh,
So
really? Oh, I love him. He cracks me.
And they were like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm making
gun sounds."
Yeah.
What is that?
So this spider is what we are trying to capture in the ride.
Oh my gosh.
So this is a remote control spider that you can buy.
Oh, fun.
So this is so Peter Parker creates these little spider bots to be like little helpful things.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a replication mode where they can replicate themselves. And you can, so what happens is this little guy gets stuck on replication mode. So they're all stuck on replication mode. So they just keep doing it. And then some of them accidentally walking through the PIM kitchen. And what will that do to them? Some will get the size of a kitchen.
Oh.
Some will get itty bitty.
Oh my God.
So when you're on the ride and all of a sudden one that's gone through radioactive green slime and through the PIM kitchen and is the size of your actual kitchen, it's a little like,
Do you wear 3D glasses?
You do. You wear the 3D glasses that look like spider.
Oh, that's interesting. I assumed it was going to be like a Soarin' type ride. I didn't realize it was on a track. Okay. Wow.
So not a Soarin' ride. It is very interactive. It's the same track as Toy Story Mania. The same kind of thing where you do a movement. You've got the glasses like it, but you are trying to defeat, I don't know, somewhere around 25,000 spiders.
No big deal.
Robotic. I mean, luckily they're the cute kind. I mean, they're this red and blue kind. Like if they looked like real spiders, my eyes would be closed the whole time.
No, like the birds.
Yep, that's right.
So did you ride Guardians of the Galaxy? Has it changed any, or is it exactly like it was?
It's exactly the same as it was when it came out 3 years ago.
Okay.
That ride is a bit much for me. I have ridden it. I got to go to the grand opening of it. So for those of you who think the ride is going to be like Tower of Terror, it is not.
Right, that's what I've heard.
It is a different mechanics. The guts of it are different than Tower of Terror.
Okay.
So if you are going there thinking I'm going to have this slow crickety thing up and then drop, no, that's not how it works there. So you need to be prepared for a thrill ride when you are doing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow. Okay, what characters did you see?
Oh my goodness. Well, in the world of Avengers Campus, since that's what we're talking about, I saw Doctor Strange, Thor, Loki, Black Widow, Iron Man, and Iron Man. Whoa. They have Tony Stark's voice recorded so he can interact. So, for example,
oh my God,
this little kid comes up to him and he's like, huh?
I said, I love him. That would be so neat.
Oh yeah. So a little kid approaches him, to do a little, where they stand, I don't know, like 3 feet in front of the character and take a picture.
Yeah.
So this little kid walks up and so you hear Tony Stark's voice saying, "Hey there, little buddy, what's your name?" And then the little boy says his name and he goes, "Wow, that's great. That's the name I always use when I'm trying to hide from so-and-so." So that's perfect. He can say it to every single kid that walks up.
Right.
And it can be Tony Stark's voice, Iron Man's voice.
Wow.
And it was so good. And the kid was like, wow, he used my name. Right.
Oh my God.
So that was so good. The only thing at Black Panther, the only thing I did not get to see, the only thing was the Dormelage, which are the people who train the security staff of Wakanda.
I know who they were.
I know that you do, Paul.
Let's talk Harry Potter. I'm just kidding.
Whoa. You can just, you're done.
Bring it back.
So that is the only group that I did not see.
Okay.
Spider-Man has an epic 85-foot jump. I got to see that. I have it on recording.
Gosh.
Yeah, so I'm going to be uploading some recordings over the next couple days because I took so much footage while I was there.
Because she is very professional when she goes to Disney.
I bet there's no videos of your feet just walking around, because that's what this one videos when she's.
Well, one time my dad and I wore the same shoes, so I sent you a video of our feet. Good job, Tricia.
Yes, very. And that's why she's the boss.
So you'll be uploading them to Visit Mickey's Facebook page? Is that?
We'll do YouTube and then link to Facebook. So, because a couple months ago, I uploaded 40 videos to YouTube because like when I go somewhere, I take about 1,000 pictures and 20 videos. And so that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to be uploading Avengers Campus videos. I took, but then I also, hey, listen, I went over to Disneyland, which is my dreamland. And I have, pictures with Pooh and Tigger, and I have the marching band playing, and I watched the flag, the flag being taken down. They do it differently there. I loved it. It was super moving. So I have that to upload. So I have a lot to add.
Good.
I think I might have missed it in the beginning. So Avenger Campus is not in Disneyland proper. It's in
The
California Adventure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Star Wars Land is in Disneyland, and then Marvel is next door. Okay, that makes sense.
So for anybody who does know Disneyland kind of like layout, the Bugs Life Land is what closed to recreate Avengers Campus.
Okay.
So it's directly next to Cars Land.
Okay.
And
Nice.
there's an entrance on the main street. And then the second entrance, well, there's 3 entrances to Avengers Campus. The main road, an entrance from the Hyperion Theater, like where they do the stage shows. Right there is an entrance. And then the last one is at Cars Land, where they have the Luigi's Tire ride. That's the 3rd entrance. So there's 3 places.
Wow.
It's shaped like a T. So that's where, when you think of the 3 entrances, the tops of the T and then the bottoms of the T.
How many times did you ride Web Slingers?
I did 3 webs. I had a 4-day park hopper. I did 3 web slingers and 1 rise.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And my boarding pass numbers were all 70 or less.
I saw that.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I was really like, woohoo, this is good.
Did you try a special snack in Marvel in Avengers Campus, or a special?
I did the food from Pim Kitchen. I did not try any of the other quick serves or snacky things because like the shawarma, I don't know, mostly because I just can't eat that much. There's stuff like every so often, right? It'll be like, well, I just had breakfast. I'm going to need a while.
Right.
So I never got to the shawarma, which I thought I might try. But they didn't have a ton of just themey, oh, this looks like their themey stuff was like an Iron Man arm.
I saw that.
I saw you post that.
Did you guys?
Yes.
That's
That
funny.
was pretty neat.
I didn't realize that was part of. I thought you had put that together for the shot. That's how it came.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the food. And so it's got this cup, and that's how they served you your Coke product. So when you ordered the 20-ounce Coke with the Iron Man arm, it's a major commitment because you got to stick your arm in that whole thing, and you have to keep it in that orientation.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
And then that's how you're
You keep the arm, I guess.
Yeah, no, and the arm's not movable. This is it. This is how your hand has to stay when you're in that.
So are a lot of people walking around with that on? Am I really loud?
No, you just
Every
hit your
time-
face on it. That's
Oh.
why it shook.
So every time I talk, you jump.
Tons of people walking around with that arm.
That's amazing.
Oh, funny.
But that's like an action figure grip. That's all it does, So you just put a sword or a hot
Yeah.
dog or.
And you could put your shawarma in it because it's got a holder for a cup holder or your shawarma holder. A burrito would fit in that. So you could eat your burrito.
Oh, man.
That's
hilarious.
That's a lot of wives looking at their husbands when they get home going, "You're not taking that out to dinner." And you're like, "Nope, I am. Look at that
Date
burrito
night.
right in there. You can't eat a burrito like that." That's awesome.
So when you go to Star Wars Land or these other themed lands, you see a lot of people like dressed up. Did you see a lot of that in the Avengers campus?
I would say not as much. Definitely, there were some people. If you watched WandaVision, I did see people in that Scarlet Witch like headgear.
Okay.
And they were more doing the bounding where they would wear the black and the red and then maybe just the headgear.
Right.
I didn't see, like with Star Wars, you see people in the robes, right?
Yeah.
Kids in Halloween costumes without masks, a lot of that.
Oh,
people in their Spidey gear and stuff like that. Yeah, that we saw.
Okay.
But adult wise, it was more bounding.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And they have a store right now that's like the premier backlot store of Avengers Campus. Whoa. Which is where the cup came from, right? This came from there.
Because I don't think.
And yeah, because this was the preview. So this is, and it lights up, right? So
I like
Everything lights up.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
So you put your drink in here and you put the light on and you have this glowing drink. So that's like the why you want
Can
that.
You wear it? We like things you can wear, like the popcorn buckets. Can you wear that?
Oh, yeah. Well, then you would like the arm because you can wear it and you can't really get rid of it.
So the water bottle doesn't have a strap or anything.
No strap.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is it. And I think that's kind of a commitment, honestly, but they wanted it and I was okay to get it. And then I showed the spider bot already and you saw the web slingers. So those were the three things I picked up from Avengers Campus. And then the only thing I picked up from Disneyland are my new ears. Like I got some Mickey ears.
Oh.
So I kind of like that they were Mickey ears without the bow, not Minnie ears, but Mickey ears.
Cute.
Because I think like when you get these, they're always mini ears. And when I saw and these are made of leather and they're like the ones that are a little bit, the head is a little bit better because like I put them on and I walked around the store for like 5 minutes to see if I'd get an instant headache and I didn't.
Good.
So then I knew they were for me.
Oh, okay. And I love
some of them like they'll hurt right away.
Yeah.
But this is, because it was a little bit better headband. So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was really good. Really good to get there. Really good to kind of see it early.
Yeah.
And honestly, we have people going, Visit Mickey has people going starting this month. So I'll get with the team and give everyone the here's what you need to know about Avengers Campus. Here's what you need to know about the tickets. That's kind of like all an internal thing, but their tickets are different. And so you have to handle things different for Disneyland. So that'll be for the team to know so that they get their guests up and running properly.
And you stayed at the Grand Californian, is that right?
I did a split stay. So I spent 2 nights at the Paradise Pier, followed by 2 nights at the Grand Californian.
Okay.
So here's what I learned.
Oh.
The Paradise Pier is, so we're waiting for Disneyland Hotel to open. And then this year they have slated the Paradise Pier for a refurbishment where it's going to get a whole new theme.
Oh.
And I'm really, really excited to see that go through refurbishment. I was there 8 years ago, and I think the hotel looks exactly the same as it did 8 years ago. So I'm really excited for some retheming.
Good. Okay. And I saw you had a special preview of some big things in the sky. Fireworks. I was so excited about that.
I was so excited about that. So I was up on the balcony. So the last 2 days, I changed my hotel because my flight got kind of messed up and I'm like, okay, so if I can't leave tonight, when can I leave? And I could leave tomorrow, but at 6 a.m. Yuck, I guess I'll have to stay 2 nights. So darn it. So I went into the computer and said, where can I stay for 2 nights? Oh, look, they just opened club level. Let me go check it out.
Oh.
So I stayed at the Grand Californian Club.
Oh my goodness.
No, you were very excited. I was happy
really
for you.
excited about that because club level hasn't opened, so that's a big deal.
They just opened. Their club actually underwent a refurbishment, and the club is beautiful. Stained glass, the woodwork, everything. It's just a stunning little place to be. And so 2 nights ago, it was dessert and cordial hour. So that takes place starting at 8:00. So at around 10:00, and so I didn't even get there until maybe 9:45.
Okay.
So I go grab a couple desserts, I grab a coffee, I go over to the outdoor area because they have a large patio that you can sit at. So I go over to the patio, get myself a seat. I start talking to the person who's next to me, talking about our day, and then all of a sudden fireworks appear. Like nobody was prepared for it.
Oh my God.
So there's this scrambling in the back. You could see like the cast members scrambling. They turn off all the club level lights, hit a speaker, and now we're hearing everything because they were testing it. The park had already closed, so they were just doing a test, but the club level has a perfect view of the fireworks for Disneyland.
Now, what was the music? Is it what they left off with before COVID?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. They and I was like, oh gosh, they didn't have the narration because there's like a narration. They just kind of had music.
Okay.
But okay, whatever. We were all all of club level. We were all like goosebumps and excited and like going live and let me record something really quick. And you do want to and you don't want to.
Yeah.
You want to just sit and absorb it.
Yeah.
So that's why the video was only 2 minutes. It was like, I want to actually enjoy this too.
Good. I'm glad you did.
Yay! That's so exciting.
I know. And I kind of got to scoop even Walt Disney World because that didn't happen till last night.
Oh, wow.
And we had ours on the 30th.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, Tricia, I appreciate you getting up after your red-eye flight and coming in and joining us today because it's been great to have somebody that,
Oh, absolutely.
got the scoop on the fireworks, but also all this other Marvel stuff that Jenna's getting ready to find out about. So
I need to be
Okay. And I will just say,
Yes.
for those of you who have not gotten into the Marvel world yet, I'm going with my family. And so I told my daughter, listen, you need to be able to know what you're dealing with here. So for her, as a 13-year-old girl, I started her on Spider-Man thinking, well, maybe just the whole cute Peter Parker thing would suck her in.
Yeah.
That worked.
Okay.
So now she's like, oh, I want to know more. But I think to really understand the whole Marvel world, instead of trying to watch the 27 movies that are out there, if you watched the Avengers movies, because the Avengers movies have 5 or 6 superheroes in each of them.
Yes.
And so doing that, and maybe I would add on Spider-Man because of the web slingers, and I would add on Black Panther because we don't see a lot of the Black Panther in the Avengers to have it make sense.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. I would do the different Avengers movies. I would do Black Panther. I would do Spider-Man. And then it's a less commitment.
right. Well, when we went, it was 2020 when we brought COVID back to Louisville.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Paul says that was all my fault.
The worst souvenir. Yeah. In March of 2020, they come home and then everything shuts down.
So we went to Disneyland and we did the same thing. Star Wars had just opened. So I told the girls, Christmas break, before we go, we're going to binge all the Star Wars. Disney Plus had just come out and they loved them.
Love them.
And I remember that. I remember you not being a Star Wars family.
Yes.
And then you were like, oh my gosh, we're a Star Wars family.
We totally.
So we're doing the same thing here, but we're doing it for Marvel. We're like, we have 2 months before I head back to California with my family. And I'm like, we're sitting down. You're going to know some of this stuff because the land will be less impressive if you know nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Yeah, we need to do it. We're jumping on board.
Yeah. Nerd. I'm excited too. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
right.
Tricia. This is getting ready. I didn't mean to rush you out. This video is getting ready to shut off on its own. So that's why I was.
Zoom is only so long.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I was going to.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tricia.
It was a pleasure.
And Jenna, I'm going to see you real soon.
I know. She's coming to Louisville.
MIC?
KEY.
No, see you real soon. Goodness.
See you real soon.
Oh my goodness. I'm the only. Okay. Well, we'll talk
Trisha's
about lots
coming
of
in
stuff.
town. We're gonna have a girls' night. So
Oh.
if you want to come.
Oh, that's rude. That is rude.
Yay! Did you? Well, we'll talk later. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, Trisha. Thank you.
Bye.
Sure.